Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to KBN Live. What's up, Ryan? How you doing? We're a little late tonight.
I'm just glad to be here, buddy. Glad to be here. We were joking. Jeff was giving everybody a hard time, and then we looked at the clock and realized we were having too much fun in the pregame.
Yeah, that's right, in the pregame. Well, we're glad everybody's here tonight, man. We're on a regular Monday night. Ryan's in the road studio tonight, or one of the road studios anyway, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Two big guests tonight. I actually had on the schedule, we were also going to have the St. Clair No Limit winner on, except they had to reschedule due to bad weather up there, which there was some horrible weather across the entire Midwest, the whole middle of the country, I guess. So prayers up for Iowa.
I saw that video of that like 2 mile wide tornado that went across it. That's wild.
Yeah, man. So it was bad through there. I think Missouri got hit, Nebraska got hit. I just came through Sulphur. I think it's called Sulphur, Oklahoma, coming back from Possum Kingdom, and it got destroyed downtown.
Really?
So yeah, a lot of destruction out there. So hope everybody's okay.
I saw some of the MLF guys, what's left of them, posting like tornado videos on Eufaula too.
Yeah, it's the only live coverage they're getting over there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the most viewers they've had all year.
Yeah. Well, man, we got a double feature tonight. We got. This was a shock. I didn't know this was happening until all of a sudden I saw that he won. But AJ McChorter, tournament director extraordinaire. And for those that have only been around this sport for a couple of years, I don't think people understand that before AJ hung up his hat for the good of all of us and started running the BOS, was out there cashing checks and breaking necks regularly, one of the hammers just a few years back, right?
And a PA-17 with a bow mount. One of the first that I can remember seeing with a bow mount. He was out there in this monster. I mean, it's basically a bass boat at that point. 17 feet long out there just getting after it.
Yeah, so AJ came out of a retirement all of a sudden, and boom, went straight to the top, won the trophy at the Tennessee Bass Nation event on Dale Hollow.
I remember, I posted that comment Friday that Steve-O caught his PB Friday when we went smallmouth fishing. AJ made a comment about it. He was petting some brown fish, and it didn't register to me that he was referring to the Dale Hollow event that was coming up this weekend. And clearly he was on them.
Yeah, he kept us from having to interview Luke Graham again, who finished second in the event. So thanks.
I saw that. I saw old pro Eric Thomason got up there too and cashed some checks. So
yeah, there were events everywhere, all over the place.
Jay got up there. Yeah. The Kentucky boys showed up on Dale Hollow.
Our fellow podcasters, the Paddle and Fin boys, had a tournament, I think, in conjunction with this. So I think Eric,
it was like
Jay,
3 events or something, 3 or 4 events in that one.
Some of the other fellows holding checks for that event too. So well done to all those folks. The USA qualifier was out east. Anthony Garcia from California went all the way to the East Coast and went ahead and qualified for that, winning that deal. So there you go. That was this weekend.
From what I read, it fished kind of tough. For a lot of the guys that generally do well on Murray, made some posts that kind of alluded to, a lot of boat pressure and, that affected the bite out there. And it should be the herring spawn, on those herring lakes. So you would expect it to be hammer factory.
Yeah. Speaking of Hammer Factory, second half of the show, Jake. I don't want to butcher his name. I've done too much damage to people's names on here, but Jake M will be on in the second half of the show. Won the Bass Nation on Brownwood, and then Duke was sharing pictures of the big fish being caught on Saturday and Sunday down there. Somebody had an over 26. I'm assuming they scored it as a 26.
That place,
24s.
That place showed out. There were countless 23, 24, 25, 26s out of Brownwood. So go ahead and mark that one down on your calendar for future tournaments. That was crazy.
Yeah, Jacob's going to be on as the winner, but Larry Hill, who's been on, finished third. Michael Cates, who's been on, we love Michael. He's hilarious. Finished sixth. So good
Never
stuff.
forget Kayvon.
That's right. Kayvon Hawkins, legend around these parts.
Man. Oh man. Yeah. Hey, shout out to our new listeners. We have my daughter, they won the district championship at Silverdale Friday. So congrats to her and the girls. But we have a brand new following of middle school boys that have just just found Kayak Bass Nation. So shout out to the Silverdale kids. Thanks for tuning in.
There you go. They're probably watching us on Twitch. That's what that's all about.
Probably.
We reached that demographic right there.
We found them.
We found them.
We'll probably get a letter in the mail now for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Season desist. All school streaming.
Oops.
Yeah, what else we got to get to? I saw some posts. One, I saw you made a post under our KBN name. Or no, it was you saying, let's get rid of these spammers.
Dude,
I think the bots are getting more sophisticated, man. They're getting in on it.
Wait, so don't ever click the link to build candy boxes at home. If anybody was thinking about a side gig, it's a joke. Don't do that. They'll ask you for $1,500 for supplies, and then you're waiting on your candy boxes to show up. And I still haven't gotten them, so don't do that.
No matter how high attorney fees get, do not click that and try to sign up. Don't do it. I don't know, man. I don't know how they're getting through, because I look at pretty closely at the joining questions, and if they haven't been like a member of Facebook for years, I usually don't hit approve. But these bots plus AI, who knows what Skynet's doing to us?
Skynet, they're coming for us,
infiltrating us. And then the other thing, I saw a post over on Yakabess. Our fans in California, we're huge in California, right?
Oh yeah,
huge,
growing every day.
They posted a deal about fishing etiquette, multiple paragraphs long, about fishing etiquette, not fishing too close to people. That's been a topic for years.
Yeah.
What's your best advice to handle that when you feel like you're crowded?
I think there has to be, and kayak fishing, we get a lot of new people in, right? You get a lot of people that sometimes don't know better. So I think you always have to go into it with that mindset. I think communicating with other people around you on the water is a good idea. Ultimately, you're all fishing. It's a public body of water. You don't own the area or whatever, but just try to communicate and let people know, and try to make it as cordial as you can. I know sometimes we've had interactions with bass boaters and whatnot that tend to think we don't need to be on the water, but try to talk to people and let them know what your plan is, and y'all work together, so to speak.
I think the worst thing you can do is kind of keep your head down and act like you don't see them. Mm-hmm. Just keep casting. I think that's the worst thing you can do.
Jump to the dock in front of them.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you can do. Typically, I mean, I can count on one hand the number of times I've been around somebody else and they were like, "Get out of here," when I talk to them.
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh no, man, you're good. Stay this far, whatever." I mean, if you talk, it usually works out pretty good. So there you go. Let's shout out the sponsors, and we'll get AJ the champion here. First of all, the show's presented by Eco Fishing Shop. Love the guys from Eco Fishing Shop. They're making waves across the country this year with their pro team. They've been finishing high all over the place, but the shop itself, the online store, get whatever you need there. Any of the major kayak brands can be shipped straight to your door. Many of them, if not all of them, no shipping. I know some of the brands have some restrictions on that, but they'll get them right to your door, and they never get hit by a forklift or touched by a forklift. How about that? So straight to your door. Pro Guide batteries, and then of course Western Son Vodka. They're presenting. I've got a special drink I'm going to share when AJ comes on that I've made with some Western Sun tonight, just for the both of you.
Just for AJ,
for both of you, just for the both of you. I'm share it.
Great, can't wait.
Yeah. And if you guys saw, we're doing a Revo giveaway tonight. We love doing these giveaways every week. It helps us give back to you guys, which makes the show a lot of fun in the comments. So Revo giveaway, like, share, comment. All those things.
Yep. And Seaguar winners, if you're waiting on your line pack, Brian is on vacation enjoying some family time right now. I just talked to him earlier today. So you'll get those when Brian gets back from vacation.
So there you go. Let's get Mr. AJ in here, man. But we've had him on here many times, but I think he said it before we went live. We didn't have StreamYard when he was fishing tournaments.
Yeah.
AJ.
It's a whole new world.
What's
Yeah,
up?
it's a whole new world, man. What's up? It's our pleasure to interview you as a tournament winner, not a tournament director, man.
Yeah, man. That's it's very enjoyable for me as well.
Let me do a quick
How
extra
does it
sponsor
feel?
plug. Sorry, Ryan. Let me do this real quick if you don't mind.
Oh gosh.
So, in honor of AJ being here and you, Ryan, I've created a new drink with Western Sun called the Calzone. So,
Oh my gosh. I knew I couldn't
Cheers.
figure out where you're going to go with it. I assume that would be it.
The score is. Are you drinking that to get through the fact that you don't have a starting lineup in your roster yet, or
we do have a
Trying
starting
to
lineup as
steal-
of 30
He's
minutes
trying to
ago.
steal our. He's trying to steal both of our starting lineups as we speak.
As of 30 minutes ago, AJ, we signed Tennessee center. So,
oh,
we're good
Fantastic.
now.
Great.
We can play 5-on-5. But anyway, back to tournament fishing.
we
AJ.
hope you enjoy everything that Calipari is.
Oh, I know. I'm riding this high right now so that I can go down in this next.
Yeah, the off season's as good as it gets. I promise.
Yes, that's it. That's what I'm doing.
First question's already up for you, AJ. Can you drop the TOC location for 2029?
We're
Well,
talking
we're-
about
Working real hard on it tonight. Actually,
Should have it locked in by the end of the show. Stay tuned. Don't drop.
Yeah. So AJ, what prompt? We talked before, and you're like, I don't know if I'll ever get back in the tournament scene. Yada yada yada. Then boom, here you are. What prompted you to get back in tournaments? First of all,
Man, I just really had lost a lot of just my enjoyment of tournaments. I wasn't fishing enough to feel prepared for tournament day. I wasn't, just was watching all of you all get better around me. And I was kind of going the wrong direction. And, I was my very few days a month or throughout the year that I had able to fish. I was like showing up to a TVKA event or a Tennessee Bass event. And I wasn't even competitive. I wasn't having a good time. And so, my standard based on like my past was, to do well. And so it was kind of a double whammy when I wasn't doing well and also not having fun. So I've been trying to, my goal this year is to kind of, make fishing fun again. And I've been going just, little trips here. I mean, I live on Chickamauga essentially, but like last year I only was on the water 2 total times for the entire year. And one of them was a tournament. And it was one of my worst days on the water of all time. Like I'm definitely sure a bass boat had to pull me off a bar that I was stuck on. There's a picture that Joe McElroy took of me. I think it was the only time I smiled that entire day, and it was because I was leaving. It was just one of those days, and I stepped away from that. It was like early March last year, and I was like, I'm not ever going to kayak tournament fish again. And, part of it's being a director. A lot of folks there's other directors out there that have given directors maybe a bad name in some aspects and how they handle some of the privileged information that they may have from directing tournaments over the years. And, even when some like, Bassmaster events come out and I'm like looking at them, I'll be like, man, I'm kind of looking at that. And then somebody will be like, man, I don't know if you should, fish that. I don't know. You've run a tournament out there. And I'm like, yeah, it was like 3 years ago in a different time of the year. And they're like, yeah, but like, what happens if you win, And I'm just like, and then that stuff like messes with you a little bit and you kind of feel like you're on the other side of it. And so all that said, I've just been having more fun fishing this year. And my old club that I started and ran with some great guys back in Kentucky, the Bluegrass Kayak Anglers, they got down on a little 420 derby last weekend. And we were out there on Dale Hollow, and I actually had some vacation time and I decided to spend it on Dale Hollow. And I went out there and smashed them for 3 days. Last minute on Friday night, I was like, all right, I'll fish the tournament. And, I had to play the whole kayak angler thing. It's like last minute entry and all that. It's exciting. So it just didn't go my way. I was on the right fish. I caught a bunch of fish, but I missed the right ones to help compete for a check. Paul Averill won that tournament. And I don't think I had the fish to catch him, but Jay got second. A name from the past, Tyson Peterson, got third.
I remember that guy.
I was right. And I think he's coming out of retirement too. He's 2 tournament weekends in a row. But I was right in there with the fish that I let go. But now I'm thinking like, okay, now I'm a normal tournament guy where I'm focusing more on what didn't happen instead of what did. And so I kind of thought about that all week. And, the Tennessee bass was sitting there on Dale Hollow, and I knew what the bite's going to be. I know what the opportunities are. And I just wanted to go out there and swing on them for a little bit more money. And, there's a double dip opportunity because, that's the fun. I didn't get to fish the 2-day paddle and fin. Would have loved to have been able to do that, but I had some plans on Sunday. So it was good to kind of mix a little bit. But 10 cat event, 3 fish tournament, Knoxville Club. Ended up getting second in that to Eric Thomason because he had 3 bigs. And all of my fish were like the same size. They were all 18.5 to 19-inch smallmouth that I had. So it was just awesome, man. It was a great day on the water, and it kind of the build up for it was perfect for me as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you said something there. Is there a better way to limit out than all solid smallmouth like that?
No, I mean, if I could have culled an 18 for a 21 would have been cool, but I wasn't, I didn't know because, obviously the leaderboard goes off. I had service to check it, but, I'd look at Eric's fish, when I didn't have my, when I was submitting and checking on things, and, he had a 20, a 19 3/4 and a 19 1/4, and then a 15 and a 14. And so the tournament director in me is thinking like, man, my dude is holding back some good ones. He's just waiting. He's playing with me. All of that. And then I'm also looking at Jay Wallen and Jim Ware that hadn't submitted fish because they're probably fishing in an area that didn't have good enough service. So I know that 90 inches probably isn't going to cut it. In my mind, I just watched Paul win with 92 and change. Any time on that lake, you're going to cull a 17 for a 20. If you get that one right bite. And so, I just kept fishing hard. Actually had my last cull with 3 minutes left, had it at 1:58 Central Time. It was just a 1/2-inch cull, but at the time that's better than no cull. So you're kind of jacked up. It's like a last second shot. And it went in. I didn't know that I didn't need my last 3 culls, and that it was enough. But, to be able to kind of keep that mindset and fish, staying motivated through that whole time, is just, and then to have that last bite was pretty awesome. And I'm a finesse angler. I'd love to have a spinning rod in my hand the whole time. And I really, except for a couple different presentations to try to let them see something different, I drug a finesse jig on a spinning rod the whole time and fish exactly the way I like to do it. Even though the wind was ripping 15 to 20 mile an hour straight down this cut, that helped the bite. And I was able to use the PA 12 360 to kind of position properly to keep that little 1/4 ounce jig on the bottom in 20 foot of water. So it was just a lot of fun, man. Had a great time. I fished really clean. And y'all talk about people fishing by each other. There was 6 kayak anglers in this cut or in this creek, and 20 to 40 bass boats in and out. And it was pretty busy. I don't think a single person saw me catch any fish that I caught. And these are secondary points. They're very visible areas, but it just was kind of cool because I felt like I was doing my thing and no one knew about it that was there watching it. I talked to the guys that were there and they were like, yeah, we had no idea that was you. And so I was like, kind of cool that you can be so crowded, but still kind of have your own space to do your own thing.
Couple questions. You kind of answered this one without even knowing it just a second ago. Duke asked, AJ, did you win in that epic PA 17? But you got rid of that, didn't you?
So the PA 17, the original, the OG, the one that caused all sorts of rift, the year that they allowed motors in the national championship. I got rid of that one many years ago, only to build back a better one over the last couple years.
Build back better.
We've hit make fishing fun again and build back better all tonight.
Oh boy.
it's sitting over there, but I have a little PTSD about taking that thing to Dale Hollow specifically, because when the water was down a couple winters ago, I backed off the edge of a ramp and couldn't get my trailer back up, and we actually had to bring out a couple old guys in a pontoon and grappling hooks and lift that thing up off of the ramp and pull it up. So it's just one of those things that, like, it was a bad decision. And, I appreciate being able to pull the PA-12 or PA-14 out of the back of my truck bed. It's a really, versatile way of getting out there, no limitations on different ramp statuses or slide ins or anything like that. So that's a little bit more my style for the tournament. While I would have had spot lock on that boat, I was able to, I don't know that would have been a beneficial feature for me. It would have had me kind of staying in the same spot as opposed to drifting over areas. I think about that in a kayak all the time. I'm a river fisherman. So, staying in one spot's not really my style. I like to move with the current and present my bait with, as it's naturally presented. And that's really great for kayak fishing, and has always been kind of one of my strong suits. So I was able to apply that drifting in that PA-12. I think that PA-17 would have got its ass whipped out there. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, especially in Tennessee, April is kind of the month of smallmouth in Tennessee, and that can apply to the Tennessee River, Dale Hollow, Center Hill, Percy Priest. Like, you can pretty much copy and paste the presentation, what the fish are doing. But how did Dale Hollow specifically set up? A lot of people were hyped about the timing of this event being in April, that it was going to be a really good turnout. We usually have a Dale Hollow tournament in the wintertime, which can turn out some decent fish, but it's usually tough on the majority of anglers. How does Dale Hollow set up in April? And, you talked about the secondary points, but what did you look at? Did you fish history? Like, how did you locate the winning bag up there?
Yeah, I mean, I really kind of, based on the previous week and what I'd found, I really thought the largemouth were going to be the better play. And that's kind of the thing that I like about this time of year is the smallmouth are either just wrapping up the spawn or post spawn, which means they're hungry, and I like them when they're hungry and active. But the largemouth are moving in, and the previous week you could just see like schools of largemouth in the surface in the backs of cuts, and there were 15 largemouth in the back of this one cut, and you just knew they were there. And I kind of expected that, Saturday, but they weren't. Or they weren't active, or they had moved out maybe a little bit, because last week was kind of cold here. We had some really cold nights, and the days were okay, but those nights were like, our last few nights, hopefully in the 30s and 40s. And so, those fish, weren't sitting in, 3 foot of water like they were the week before. And it took me a couple hours to realize that. So I just kind of went over to a point that I had found a fish in pre-fishing the week before for that last tournament. It was actually a 19 incher, and it was a really thin smallmouth, perfect kayak fish, so it was long and skinny. And, that kind of told me a lot. Like, that fish was spawned out. It was moving out of the area that had spawned. And it was just feeding on a specific point, a south facing point, waiting for south winds to kind of bring warmer water and, some bait to it. But also like the style of bank that it was too. And there's a few banks in that creek that set up that same way. And so when I went back over there after, it was 8:30, I think, when I caught my first fish. So the tournament started at 6. So it'd been 2.5 hours without a bite at all. And I was just getting over there to it, and it didn't take long before I caught my biggest fish. It was a 19. And it just kind of started it. Now that area in the tournament, I'd caught one before. So I just kept working that same area. And once I'd caught 2 on that and had a couple other bites, I was like, okay, this could be a thing. So I went up to the next point. It was a little closer to the main lake, did the same thing, actually ended up getting my, limit with some smaller fish up there. And then I came back to that main spot, hit another one or two there. And then I went down to another point. And honestly, that other point, I think, might have been the better point of the bunch, but I didn't get to spend as much time there. But that's where I went late in the day to have 2 of my final culls, and had a couple other, fish in my limit there. So it was really specifically 3 south-facing points with kind of like chunk rock to kind of some lighter gravel. But these points went out to like 15 to 20 foot, and then they dropped off. So I was really working both sides of the points, the lead-in banks that the fish were coming out on, and then like the main creek arm banks. And they were on both sides of it. So they were just staged up post spawn, waiting for opportunities. And I was there to give them a few.
Save this question from earlier, AJ. Asked every interview that we do. Did you use live scope? Did it play?
I have a long-standing relationship with Lowrance, but I ordered my equipment a little late this year. So while I do have the nice HDS Pro 10 on there that has been amazing, I don't have my active target yet, which is great. I actually appreciate that because I have used active target 6 total times over the last few years. It is a huge distraction for me. I just, because I was getting on the water so little, but I wanted to learn it, I was focusing on that as opposed to just fishing. And really, for me and how I was fishing, I just needed to keep my bait on the bottom. So as long as I could do that, I was going to get bit. And it was funny because I talked to another angler that was doing kind of what looked to be the same thing, except he was using his active arm in some sort of scope. I don't know what brand he had, but he was on the other side of this creek arm, and he said that he could see the fish on the bottom, but he couldn't get them to react to anything. And so he was watching them, but he wasn't getting them to do anything. Whereas I was just assuming and expecting they were there and kind of getting them to do that. Now I could see fish on my down imaging and a little bit of my side. But it was really just once you knew the target area, just stay in the target area. And they were there, and so no active, no scope, just a jig,
just fishing, man, just
far
fishing
out as I could cast it, and making sure it kept itself on the bottom until it was time to lay it.
Go. Hey, it's just old school, a jig and fishing instincts. I love it.
Steve.
It can be done.
I still don't think Steve really thinks I fished a tournament this week.
Yep. It's him, Steve. Confirmed.
Yeah, like I said before we brought you on, AJ, this was not a strange occurrence to see you doing well in tournaments prior to stepping aside to run BOS. And to prove that, I'm going to throw up a blast from the past.
Oh, man.
Oh,
man.
The power rankings from KBN from 2018. If you will look right there at number 4, AJ, right there with his good buddy Jay Wallen at number 2, Jody Queen, Guillermo, Jason Broach, some guys we've seen around the top 10 in the last few years. But
Richie
I think
McMichael,
maybe that was the last year.
I hadn't seen him or Jamie Dennison in a minute, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, look at that list.
A lot of the names on that list are still the same. On that top 25. Many, I'd say probably 15 of those are still in the top 10.
Was that roundabout the last year you stopped doing national tournaments, AJ? 2018?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I kind of knew there was like a transition year where, we were about to get rolling with BOS, and I kind of had a little bit of a rough start to the beginning of the KBF season, but then I won a Gunnersville tournament. That kind of changed my point bearing. And then I was able to hit a few more that year. And then I got second place in a Cedar Creek KBF tournament. And so like, I kind of, that year was good. It probably was the year I hit the 10. I don't know. It kind of all blends together. You don't want to date yourself too bad, but, pretty much once BOS started, I was done. So, this is our 6th year. So, 6 years roughly.
Right.
What was the date on that? It
was 2018. So it's about right. Yeah. Just about right. Yeah. Directors can fish.
Double
Dang
G.
right, Daniel. You dang right. Well, man, I was pumped to see you in a tournament number one, and then right there at the top of the leaderboard. That was awesome. Before we
Man.
let you get out of here, we got to talk a little bit. I mean, your title says BOS Tournament Director. Give us a little BOS update. Oh, wait, one more thing. Does Steve do midday updates for these Bass Nation events? And did you get your name in one?
Well, let's talk about Steve for a second because we all love Steve. But my man Steve forgot to give his man Daniel the checks. So I win my first Tennessee Bass Nation tournament ever. My first tournament in like 6 years. And the checks, that first place check that everyone just dreams to hold, is sitting in Steve's truck in Georgia. But we get to still pose with an invisible check. It was a special moment. We'll always remember.
I like that. I like that.
So
Steve did mention that Friday when we were fishing. He's like, I feel bad. I'm going to Georgia to run the Georgia Bass Nation event, and I don't think Daniel has the checks for the Tennessee Bass Nation. Oops.
No, it was funny, and it happens. And so, I think Steve's going to have to hand deliver that one for me. And I'm looking forward to that.
It's in the mail. Checks in the mail, AJ.
Hey. Steve Fields said AI version of AJ. It will be an AI version of the check. So close.
Yeah. And, I don't know my next one. I mean, if I'm in town, I might try to get into a local event on Chick. But it's got to feel kind of like right for me. But I definitely am excited about being qualified for the state championship on Guntersville. And getting out and doing that. So like, if I were to say, when's my next tournament, that's my next tournament. I don't know that I'm going to get down between now and then, but, I want to put a little bit into that. I think it'd be kind of cool to get an opportunity to qualify for whatever's going to go on in Texas next year, and represent and kind of take this story as far as it can go. And, that would be a fun way to do it. And Guntersville hasn't been unkind to me in the past. So we'll see how she goes.
Well, welcome back. Amazing. Welcome back to the spotlight for all the right reasons, AJ. Congrats on the big win on Del Hollow, and especially doing it with the smallies.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And to Jeff's question on the BOS. So, this week we've got a brand new lake, Wright Patman, in Texarkana, Texas. It's an event that, other national entities have hosted events there as far as professional bass boat tournaments, but there's never been a professional or high level kayak tournament there. I don't even think really any local club tournaments have been there, which was kind of an exciting reason for us to go there because, so many states and so many roads can go through and get to Texarkana easily. And then, everybody says, well, we go back to this place and so always wins. And, you hear all those stories. So it's like, well, let's go someplace that no one's ever been to. And so, but as we've seen with other locations, sometimes it takes a little while to build them up. This is, to be, quite frank, in about 7-8 years of running kayak tournaments, national and local, I don't know that I've had attendance that seems to be maybe this low. But in the BOS, we run events for the anglers that do come and not for the, projection of who didn't. And, however we end up, because you can still register till Wednesday, those anglers are going to have a good time. They're going to beat up a new lake. There's going to be some exciting stories and some qualifications and some checks cashed. And it's going to be a good time. And I'm looking forward to showcasing what Lake Wright Patman is all about this week. But we also have 3 more events. Cayuga's got some anglers getting excited. That should be a primo time to hit up there. I mean, talk about smallmouth, that's going to be one of those. And then, we'll go to Saginaw Bay in August. That should be a good mix of largemouth and smallmouth. And then we wrap it up in September on Lake Chickamauga. So there's still 4 more events left the second half of the season. As a whole, tournament numbers across the board are just down a little bit. There's a wide range of reasons for that. But, the people that are still coming are out there having a good time cashing checks. And that's what it's all about.
I like the point of not fishing the same lakes over and over again, because like you said, I know I do, like you feel like going into these tournaments, you know where somebody fished before, whatever it is. So you don't even go like, to that area, to that side of the lake, because you don't want to be that bootlicker running around trying to trying to cut in on somebody that's been successful before. And I think there's a lot of that goes into people's heads. Like, you don't want to just follow somebody around and try to, cut in on their success. So I think these new lakes, people figuring out for themselves, there's no kind of preconceived off limits areas that you can't go touch or whatever. I think it's great. And I hope that we see more of that in the future in big trails, kind of mix it up a little bit. I think, there's probably 20 lakes that we've seen get cycled through pretty regularly. So I think it's good to throw some new lakes in there. And, just like Brownwood, like we're about to talk about, it could be, phenomenal, and nobody's really put a spotlight on it before.
Yeah. And, I think the biggest thing with new lakes is you just got to get out there and check them out. Not be intimidated by the newness of it. Know that you're kind of going in on an even slate with everybody else for the most part. There's not, like, to your point, there's not so-and-so spot and where so-and-so won 2 years ago. And there's not any of that. It's just, let's go figure it out. And, what we're hearing is that the lake's up. Water's going to be kind of flooded in some of the brush and the bushes that are kind of in certain areas of the lake. Fully anticipate it to be a Texas rig flipping, frogging type bite, and that's just good fun. You get in there, close quarters, heavy tackle, getting fish out, and it's not. The thing about Wright Patman is it's a Texas lake, which means it's it's on a list next to all these amazing fisheries that put out huge bags and huge numbers. If you put that lake in a variety of other states, it's going to be a quality fishery in those other states. When you put it in Texas, it doesn't get any sort of recognition as a fishery because of all the places that are above it. So I think it gets a little bit of a bad name just because of how good the fishing is in Texas, and that people will rather just drive a couple hours here to go there, or an hour here to go there, or all the other places. And I think, it's easy to get excited about fishing venues when, you can go catch these big fish. And very rarely do we see that actually happen in tournaments, but the excitement is there on the front end. So I think that this one, because of the unknown, lacked a little bit of the excitement. And, maybe that's something that we can showcase a little bit and get our anglers out there to catch a few. So.
Yeah, and I think the unfortunate, which you can't avoid this, is just the way it happens. There's tournaments everywhere. I think there's over, well, somebody said in the comments, there's over 150 folks already registered up on Lake of the Ozarks same weekend for the All-American Classic taking place simultaneous, which a lot of those folks are from the region, different parts of the country as well, may have made that trip down. So it's kind of, when you're splitting attendance, it makes it a little bit tougher.
Yeah. And those guys with the All-American Kayak Series, I mean, they reach out to me every year. They have so much patience with me on my schedule, but it's just, sometimes it doesn't always work out in the timeline that we would both like. And I tell Joshua every year, I'm like, man, you just got to do what you got to do. Like, I appreciate it, but you can't wait for me any longer. I understand. And then when it happens and, the dates conflict, it's just an unfortunate scenario, especially for that event. That's the championship there and all the way that one plays out. That's their biggest event traditionally of the year. So definitely unfortunate when it happens that way, but gosh, I mean, every weekend there's multiple, whether they're multiple here or multiple there. I mean, it feels like there's so many going on right now, and people are going in all directions. And we just appreciate the support and look forward to getting into some other parts of the country through the summer that, haven't been hit as hard by the heavy load of tournaments. And getting into some new waters up there as well.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping for a last minute push for I want to call it Wright Pat, because I'm from Dayton, Ohio, Wright Patterson Air Force Base up there. So Wright Pat, we'll hope a late push to get those numbers up there. But man, we appreciate all you do for BOS, and I'm so happy that you're back fishing some tournaments, man. So cool.
Yeah.
felt good to get out and swing on them and kind of just be one of the guys. I felt like I was supposed to get on the stage and like MC the thing for a while. They had to keep me in my seat. They're like, no, it's not your time yet. So it was just a little adjustment for me, but it was pretty awesome. I'll say one thing real quick. I had 3 second places on Dale Hollow in the past, and it's one of my favorite lakes in the country. So to get the win there, even though I had to add another second place to the list because of Eric's 3 big ones, but now 4 second places in that first, just it just hits a little different. It means a lot, and I just want to thank everybody out there that has reached out and congratulated me and all of that. I appreciate that. I enjoy being your all's tournament director, but it was fun to take y'all's money one time. So
there you go, man.
There we go.
AJ, we're gonna let you get out of here, man. This calzone's for you, sir.
All right, man. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Oh man.
All right. AJ McChorter, everybody. What a legend.
Yes.
Jake, what's up, man? From one legend to a legendary mustache. Look at this guy.
I was gonna say Jake M stands for Jake Mustache. That thing is thick, boy. Good.
No, I had to stick an M on there for Jeff. It's pronounced Maenius, by the way.
Okay, thank the Lord. I didn't try to say that. I was going to say Maenius.
Man, trust me, I've heard it all. It's a common mistake, so don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, man. So we just got to talking to AJ about
he butchers names for a living.
Everybody, I got a guy. I got like thousands of people calling a guy Kayvon by accident. So who knows? Yeah, man. We go from big smallies to giant largemouth, literally, man. So we're excited to talk to you about what happened on Brownwood. Congrats on the win. First, tell us about Brownwood. That's one of those unknown lakes Ryan was just mentioning. So tell us about that lake down there.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a few in Texas, but Brownwood's got a lot of giants in it. And like I said, it's relatively unknown sleeper lake. I think we got a lot of people that are looking at making a few trips from around the state now at it. And I mean, y'all saw there was a 26-inch fish caught, 25 and a half, a couple 24 and a half. So it's a big fish lake, and there's plenty of room on it. So
Duke sniffed that one out pretty well. Shout out to Duke on the Texas Bass Nation schedule, because that one showed out for sure.
Yeah, and we had our first for West Texas. We had our first run on the lake last year, and it put out a bunch of big fish and big bags. I think we had a couple of 90-inch bags just in our top 5 that year.
So where are you from, and what's like the nearest big city Brownwood is near, just so people have kind of a geographical reference?
Well, I guess I live in San Angelo, which is about hour and a half to 2 hours worth of driving to the west of Brownwood. Is
that where the Air Force Base is out there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes,
my son was out there, did firefighter training at that base. So there you
go. That's the big one. There's a lot of that. The firefighter training goes on over there.
Yeah.
We talked about flying in out there to go access deer hunting down in Sonora here in a couple weeks, actually. So I may be in that neck of the woods myself. But Brownwood's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And it's not far from Ivy, actually. I'm sure everybody knows where Ivy is.
Yeah, I went out there and caught not shit.
Yeah. I did see that. That was
fantastic. Great time. I had a great time out there. I won't take that away, but the fishing was rather difficult in the cold months.
Yeah, and Ivy's it's kind of deceiving. You see all these guys catching, massive fish on it, and it can go out. It'll humble you in a hurry. You go out on the right day, and it'll actually it'll kick your ass and make you just feel like the worst fisherman.
How does Brownwood set up, comparatively? Is it a rocky lake? Is there a lot of shallow grass, flooded timber? What's the primary kind of cover on the lake?
So most of the lake is rock. Tons of rock. There's lots of bluffs, chunk rock. There's some patches of grass, which is what actually I ended up fishing for the tournament. But there's kind of hard to locate. Some years you'll have a bunch of it, some years you won't. And then there's little patches of flooded timber, but they're kind of in about anywhere from 4 to 2 foot of water based on the lake level, which it's kind of low right now. So
yeah, I was gonna say Ivy was, I think, like 8 feet low when we were out there. So most of that I don't know what it is, like salt brush or whatever, it was out of the water completely. So I assume if it's that, if it's relatively close to Ivy, I would think it would probably be low now still.
yeah, it is. Yeah, that salt cedar, it's pretty much all out of water out at Ivy.
Salt cedar, that's it. I knew it was salt something. I'll try to take notes.
We're very, very familiar with it in West Texas. There's no shortage of that crap.
People think, or maybe not people, maybe just me, think Texas, and they think red clay, standing timber, grass, whatever. They don't think of these like PK, rocks, bluff walls. They don't think of that kind of stuff in Texas, but there's a lot of diverse fisheries down there.
There is. Yep. You can whatever kind of structure or habitat you want to fish, you can find it in Texas. I mean, we go
Texas
from
is
across
fairly
the
large.
state.
Yeah, it's a large.
Yeah, we go from like 8 inches of rainfall out in El Paso to 40 plus in East Texas. There's so many different, I mean, just climates, and just in Texas alone, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. Most of the fish. So, I mean, what was the timing like? Were they pre-spawn? Were you catching some spawners? Had some of them spawned out? I know I saw a lot of pre-spawn to spawners in the photo. Like there were some thick girls that definitely still had eggs in them. So what was it like timing wise out there?
I think the majority were probably in spawn. I think there were probably a bunch of that were in all 3 stages. But yeah, I don't know. That one's kind of hard to pin down because like I said, I think they were in all 3.
And you said you were fishing grass. What was your approach to that?
So I started out. My first decision was I was going to go and I was going to throw a chatterbait through this grass because there was about a 150-yard stretch or so of some submerged grass. It was about 2 foot from the top, and it was kind of connecting all these docks for about, like I said, about 150 yards or so. And so my original approach was to throw a chatterbait through it first thing in the morning, just because I like that bait. I have confidence with it. And then hopefully pick up a big bite early and then move to docks later on in the day, because the water temp was starting to get up into the mid 70s later on in the day out there. So they were moving up to be a little bit cooler. That's not how it ended up playing out. I ended up first thing in the morning, I noticed that there was a bunch of bait fish schooling around the outsides of these docks, and they were feeding on, I don't know, they were all over my kayak first thing in the morning, but these little mayfly looking bugs. And I noticed that those bait fish were schooling, and then every now and then you would hear an explosion out of the water, and these bass were coming up from underneath the dock to hit these bait fish. So I ended up just pitching a Senko into those wads of bait fish, and they would just come out and smoke it. And that's how I caught most of my fish early on in the day. And then, heck, I ended up with a spinning rod in my hand most of the day, outside of, hardly any power fishing, really.
Way to switch it up. Jackhammer Senko combo.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a springtime staple on about any lake you drop in on.
Yeah, and they're some of my favorites to throw. So I was pretty happy that was what it ended up being.
Did you think, I mean, did you watch kind of social media or the leaderboard, seeing these giant fish getting posted? Were you nervous at any point? Like somebody's going to bust a 25 and jump me by 6 inches here?
I was. Yeah. I mean, I kind of expected there to be some sandbagging too, because we have a couple anglers that are a little bit notorious for that. And so I try not to watch it too hard, because then I get caught up thinking about that rather than fishing hard and trying to cull. So I did a little bit, I caught that 24 and a half of mine early on in the day. And I kind of thought to myself, well, I might, at the very least, I might have a shot at big bass, which I didn't even sniff that. And, I was kind of scrolling through the leaderboard as I was submitting fish and noticed I had a 25 and a half. And I was like, well, I'm out. I better, keep fishing hard, which I did. So.
Did you have any late day culls?
I did. So I had a few I think my last call was at 2:54 ish. So about 6 minutes before I called a 15 for a 16, which I thought was actually, I was doing my math wrong. I actually thought I had to have a call to be able to win, but I actually had it already by, I think, a quarter of an inch or a half inch or something like that. So I didn't actually need it, but I guess have it and not need it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of big bass, you said you thought you had a shot at it. We saw the big bass. And one thing I wanted to ask you, here's a picture of it, the big one.
Golly.
You had a 26-inch board, it looked like.
I did.
Did you see this and get nervous? Like, damn, I'm going to lose a half an inch like this guy if I land one like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking, man, I could sure use a 32-inch board right now, but I guess luckily and unluckily, I didn't get shorted an inch or something like that. Whatever that guy lost, that was a huge fish.
Yeah, I saw somebody ask what this was scored as, and it had to be a 26, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean it's the logical.
There's no more lines.
Yeah.
You're out of lines. You can't score as anything else. David Logan wants to have your baby. So
it's 2024, y'all. You never know.
We are.
Send me a message later, David. We'll talk about it.
Oh boy, if we see a little 6-month-old baby with a giant mustache, we're gonna know that this actually happened. KBN making a love connection out here.
That's right.
Is he one of those transplants to Texas? He can't be from there.
Yeah, he's from California, 100%. That boy cut the heels off his boots. He's real light. Just kidding, David. Don't sue us.
Yeah.
It's all a good fun.
My big fish, that 24 and a half that I had, it only weighed 5.25 pounds. It was a skeleton, man. It was way different from any of those other fish those big fish that were caught. I mean, she was struggling.
Look at it. That's an ugly fish. I mean, I hate
She's
to
been through it, man.
Discriminate on that fish like that, but she has been through it.
I felt bad for her. I really did. I mean, I was glad to have her, glad to have her in the boat, but yeah, she swam away just fine. So no, she's good. I just hope she can come back.
Eating Cincos for 25 years out there. It has never turned one Cinco down, but apparently that's all it eats is plastic. So
yeah, what is that old lady from the Titanic meme?
Yeah,
it's been 25 years or whatever it is.
Oh man,
yeah, there's a big old head on that thing. She used to be heavy.
Yeah, I mean, a giant, would have normally been an 8-pound fish, when she was healthy, easy. And it was just, I pulled her out of the water. I forgot my net, so I pulled her out, and there was just nothing there. She came out of the water so easy.
Fishing a giant factory doesn't bring a net. Spinning gear all day. That's fantastic.
That's it.
Yeah. It was living life on the edge, man.
So
Larry Hill made an appearance. I see in the top 3 there.
Yeah, Larry's up there. Michael Cates is up there. Some Scotch, number 11. Sandbag Scotch is down there. Jeff Isham, Dale Griffin. A lot of great anglers in Texas, man. A lot of great anglers over there in Texas.
Yeah, I saw all those big names.
What'd you end up taking home out of this one?
Bass Nation was, you talking prize money?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bass Nation was $1,700, and my second place finish in West Texas was $700.
That's nice.
What won the West Texas event?
J.R. Mockabee put up 101 inches on us.
What?
Yeah.
And he didn't sign up for the Texas Bass Nation?
Yeah, he said he was kicking himself, which I would be too. Yeah, he said it was a last minute decision. He signed up for one and didn't bother with the other one. So,
oh my gosh. Well, that's what you get. Take that.
Don't be cheap.
Dang,
don't be cheap.
That's crazy, man. 101. I mean, that's a pretty solid. That's a solid day anywhere. But when obviously, I mean, looking at the totals, a lot of people were catching, 1 or 2 big fish on their stringer there. So that looks like a fantastic fishery.
Yeah, and if you're into that sort of thing, it's got there are all the other species. I think I caught every other trash fish species that day. I think my first 4 fish that I actually caught were drum, white bass, crappie, and blue cat in that order. First thing in the morning.
All up there eating those bait fish.
Yeah. Yep. And blue cat
question your
smoked a
spot?
spinnerbait.
Did you question your spot at that point at all? Were you like, maybe I'm in
questioned
the wrong spot?
I questioned my spot when I left the ramp, honestly. Because you know how it is in the morning, you're all grouped up at the ramp, and then everybody races to their spot. Well, I was the only one that went there. Literally, everybody went the opposite direction. And I was like, well, I'm either an idiot or a genius. And so it ended up working out.
Turns out you're a genius.
That's right. That's fishing, man. That's fishing.
Yeah.
We've talked about it 100 times on here, but when the winds happen, it's little things like, you know, you make that right call when you're second guessing yourself, you stick with it. You don't lose that fish. You forget your net, but don't lose the big one.
That's right. That's right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's
what
amazing,
else?
man.
What else do you fish in the Texas region? You said you fish the West Texas Club, obviously. Are you fishing any of the other Texas Bass Nation events?
Well, we have another concurrent event with West Texas for Ivy. I believe that one's in September. I'll probably try and make the Toledo event and the Fork event for Bass Nation. Those are hard to pass up.
I was gonna say, I'd say both of those will be pretty solid. How's Ivy gonna fish in September out there?
If I had to guess, probably pretty tough. I
didn't know how Ivy was in September. I know, like, I expect that we talked about the Chickamauga event in September for the Hobie schedule. September's generally a tough month to fish unless you're like far up in the Northeast. So I didn't know if Ivy had some special magic that happens in September or if it was going to be another grinder.
Man, not that I'm aware of. And it'll probably be.
I already put it out there. Well, I will have to say, Ty, that it is very similar in February from my experience.
I had to see what Ty had to say. He usually has a good comment or two. But he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Did you, in fact, take Billy Bowden's money at Lake Leon last year?
Did I?
I think so. I don't. Billy, are you referring to our guest or Ty himself? We'll find out. We'll find out in a few minutes, folks. Stay tuned. Let Billy's concocting his answer right now.
Does Lake Leon even exist in Texas?
It does. Okay. It does. Yeah.
Okay.
It's part of our trail series. I might have.
Did you actually rob him, or were you fishing the tournament?
I don't think I robbed him, but I'm hoping it's a tournament.
Billy just felt a mustache on the back of his neck, and he's attributed that to you, I think. It wasn't him, Billy. It was a different West Texas cowboy you had on you.
That was David Logan.
Oh, my gosh.
But
almost certain on the water. We're getting to the bottom. This could be like a Dateline episode, I feel like.
Oh, Lord. We got a question from YouTube. Ethan Robertson. What do you know about Hordes Creek?
Hordes Creek?
Hordes? Damn it. I messed that one up.
Jeff, you ain't got that Yankee out of you yet.
I know, man.
Hordes Creek is I've only fished it a handful of times, but it's super low right now. It's basically just a creek channel, but when it fills up, there's lots of flooded timber. There's some grass to be found in it in the right spots, but it can fish. It's usually pretty good fishing. I haven't heard of any giants coming out of it, but it's a good little lake.
Okay. Is Brownwood known for giants? I mean, did you expect to see monsters coming out of it going into this tournament, or was this just kind of the perfect storm?
No, I expected some big fish to be caught, and lots of them. We've kind of known about the lake for a few years now. Just we finally added it to our trail series last year, but you know, there's a couple of bass clubs that fish it, and they always post results, and that's kind of why we added it, because it's a good lake. We've known about it. Yeah.
I remember when the schedule came out, we were all blown away by the Texas schedule, number one. But there were a few Texas people that commented on it saying, "Oh, damn, they put Brownwood on there. Like they didn't want people to know about that." Is that
That's
accurate?
an online fisherman's
Yeah.
secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There's actually a lot of our lakes are like that because once they find out, it seems like everybody swarms to them. I mean, y'all have seen Ivy and well now JB Thomas, which JB Thomas is a literal mud hole. You know, I think visibility on it is like an inch.
So we
It's
tried to talk Jason Kahn into going out there when we were struggling so hard on that first day at Ivy, because I think Josh Jones was fishing out there, JB Thomas, quite a bit, and he's like, "Dude, it's a bowl, and it's dirty, and all you do is chase fish around in a circle in that bowl all day with a live scope." He's like, "So if you want to do that, we can drive another 2 hours and do it."
Yeah.
He's like, "But I don't want to at all."
yeah, it's kind of baffling how they're catching them on JB Thomas. It's I would have never thought. It's exactly like you said, and it just I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't
From
seem
what he
fun
said,
to me
though,
though.
JB Thomas is a lot more 8 and 9 pound fish, like 7 to 9 pound fish range. He's like, it doesn't have kind of the ceiling that Ivy does. He's like, Ivy, you have a potential to catch a 16-pound bass. He's like, JB Thomas, I don't think you're gonna, not as much, and that's all he wants is a share lunker, right? So he's like, I don't think you
Right.
have as much share lunker potential at JB Thomas. If you just want to go fishing, go do that. If you want to catch a giant, probably just stick with Ivy and grind it out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Ivy definitely has the bigger ceiling when that's in that regard. You can put up a 50-pound sack, you know, probably easier than anywhere else on Thomas, but the big one you got to stick to Ivy. Yeah.
What's your opinion on Bodark? Have you, I mean, obviously, you know, it just opened a couple weeks ago. People are getting to get out there and get some experience on it. Do you think it's going to be one of those staple lakes? It seems like the quality of fish, though they're not very long, but it seems like there's a lot of 6 to 9 pound fish that have already, you know, grown to that size in the years that they've been working on it.
I think it's going to be a tremendous lake. I think it's got all the different types of cover that you could possibly want as a fisherman. And I mean, it's all stocked with, I think, the Lone Star bass, which I think it's all share lunker program bass that are in that lake. So I think it's already fishing good from what I've heard. A couple of 9s already caught and a bunch of 8s. I think we give it a couple more years. It's going to be a killer lake, and I'm excited to fish it.
Yeah, I saw that was announced for the championship. Of course, I think you have to cap off such an elite lake trail that was put together on this series with something like that. I think that just was kind of the crown jewel, you know, to add it to finish it out there.
Yeah, and it was funny. We were talking amongst us in the TD group chat for West Texas, and I mentioned it's like, hey, we should add this as an option for West Texas for our classic. And we were talking about it, and I think as we did it, Jody said, well, Duke's already going to do that. So he was a step ahead of us as usual.
And you know, I don't know across the country how many times new lakes are even opening anymore. I mean, most of our reservoirs are very old. They don't open a lot of new lakes. So it's not only unique that they created a new lake to begin with, but it's a super lake for bass, or it's going to be.
Yeah. And I think this is the first new reservoir in Texas in, I want to say like 50 years or something like that. It's been a long time since we've had a new reservoir built. And I think there's another one down the road that's going to be open in the next couple of years. I think. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there's another one.
Where is Bodark in relation to, you know, Brownwood?
So north from there it's east. I think it's east of a town called Bonham, not Bonham, Jeff. But
Bonham, got it.
Bonham. That's how it looks, but yeah, it's pronounced Bonham.
Bonham.
That's right.
It's north of Dallas, right? Like almost straight northwest of Dallas a little bit, or just straight north of Dallas.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's only 4.5 hours from me.
PK. Yeah, I was gonna say probably not
No.
too far from that PK drive I just made.
Yeah, I mean, it's very close in relation to some of them lakes in North Texas.
Yeah,
I like it.
So good stuff, man. I mean, Texas, Great Lakes. But part of the reason they're so good fishing wise is Game and Fish there does an amazing job with their management and that share lunker program and the slot limits on the different lakes. I mean, there's a reason. It's not just luck that you guys keep turning out these giants and all these different fisheries. I mean, you guys do a great job managing them.
Yeah, they really do. That breeding program has been a huge success. I mean, obviously they stock all these other small lakes with them too, and you've got a bunch of small lakes putting out big fish. So it's been tremendous.
Well, we have a Turkey Creek question mark. I don't know what that means, but maybe you're familiar.
I'm not familiar with Turkey Creek.
Okay. He's keeping that one on the low. That's his online.
No, I really
that's
don't
his
know.
online spot. We figured it out. Everybody go to
He
Turkey
winked. I saw his
Creek.
mustache
Now,
move
go,
when he
go.
said it. He kind of winked. When he said it.
I ain't never heard
it's
of
my
Turkey
tail.
Creek now. All right.
Yeah, a lot of great places down there. Well, Jake, man, thank you for number one for being patient with us, coming in a little bit later in the show.
No problem.
Thank you for taking the time tonight. We're going to wrap it up here in just a minute, but yeah, congrats, man. And I hope we see you on here again. You guys are doing big things in Texas. Got basically your own national trail rolling down there.
Yeah, it's awesome. Very, very happy that Duke decided to take on that challenge. I know he knew it was going to be a lot of work, but he does a good job, and we're very thankful.
Yeah.
Love it. The Godfather of Texas, Duke Tran, does it again.
That's right.
Well, take it
All right,
easy,
man.
man. Congrats on the big win. Way to fend them off with all those 25s and 26s coming across out there. Looking forward to having you back on in the future.
Me too. Thanks, guys.
All right, man.
All right, take care, man.
Jake M, everyone.
We gotta get to Texas more, Jeff. Hopefully it treats us better our next trip out.
I know. So we're doing the Revo giveaway tonight. I had to use AJ's Make Fishing Fun Again as the hashtag tonight. MFFA. It was too good not to use. Some people got in early on that, so we'll use that for the giveaway. That was a great show, man. Good to see AJ back in. We had never had Jake on before, so great to have him on. Talk about a little West Texas fishing there and a small world over there from San Angelo, where Justin lived for a short time.
Bow dart too short.
I'm glad that it's pronounced that way because I was trying all kinds of different pronunciations of bow dart.
Yeah, you just roll with it, man. You gotta put that redneck twang on there. I feel like that's probably our gonna be our go-to from here on out on the pronunciation.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with that for sure, man. We'll give it a few minutes for people to pile in with their hashtags. Make fishing fun again.
All you Texas folks, get signed up for Wright Patman. Support it.
Yeah.
Keep bringing those national events back out there. That we've talked about it before. That is the key.
Well, I'm telling you, man, the usual suspects that would be in that event, the All-American, they're going to be pushing 175 by the time they're done with it, probably. Those are all the folks that would be there. So it's a tough weekend to split like that because the All-American is what the original TOC used to be. It's kind of the grassroots championship. You send your top 10 from your club.
Did you see
Jake's
kind of YouTube
deal?
name? Jackass with a mustache.
Really?
Yeah, I like it.
That's amazing. But yeah, that splitting events on the same weekend and the All-American is so popular in this part of the country. People don't realize. I mean, it's well over 150 every year since they've been doing it. It seems like so tough split. And I said Lake of the Ozarks earlier.
Yeah,
it's Truman Lake.
I saw
it's
you
Truman.
got in trouble for that.
Truman, which connects. They're connected via a dam or whatever on the same river system.
Something connects them.
Something like that.
Something.
Yeah, they're close to each other. Stone's throw from each other. Let's see where we've got nearly 100 people in, but only 50 in the giveaway. But I'm not going to give it too much longer. Hashtag want glasses. Ha ha. That's not going to help you, man. That's not going to help you. What's your next event, Ryan? You got a local coming up or anything?
Gunnersville, baby. Off limits started Saturday, so I just have to stay off my favorite lake this week and next week. So,
I'm thinking about making that drive.
It's okay. It's all right. I'm not going to drive over it and look at it and stare at it. No. It's okay.
I need to come over there, man. I need to get 3 of those events in to try to get the points. Even though the first one was a brutal.
Yeah, I need a point.
80th finish ain't gonna help.
Out of sight. out of some of these. Getting 1 point would be fantastic. So
Yeah,
I'm hoping
so-
Guntersville breaks the curse there.
Yeah, man. Let's do this drawing. I'm gonna go watch LeBron lose tonight. I hope.
Dude, I hope so.
Then it's Team Thunder. I'm going for the Thunder to win the whole thing, man.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
Let's go. Hashtag not rigged.
And he just threw it in too.
Damn, he was 840.
Boy.
Jake just keeps
You
winning.
talk about on a hot streak.
Whoa.
Go buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah,
Go
buy some
buy a
lottery
lottery
tickets.
ticket.
Buy some crypto. Do something. Do something. There we go, man.
Jeff will send you your code for some Revos. Congrats.
Yeah. I already got them DMs rolling,
Oh,
so I got
man.
you, man. Amazing.
Love it.
Amazing show,
Love it.
Ryan.
Sometimes it's just your day.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Congrats to the winners. Glad we got everybody in here. We are out of here. We're gonna go. Jeff's gonna watch a little basketball. I may turn it on about halftime and see how bad it is, and
That's what
that'll
I'm
be
saying.
it.
Peace. See y'all.
Bring them next week.